Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Tweedy back in another video. And today I want to talk about Sindel. So a lot of people have been saying that Sindel, if unchanged, if not nerfed, will be the strongest character in Mortal Kombat 1. And I wanted to throw up the Kombat Kast and kind of give my in-depth thoughts. You know, obviously I did a video reacting to the Kombat Kast, but I was just like ooh and ah and stuff like that. I didn't really go in depth and go into my thoughts on, you know, if I think some of these moves are going to be so like broke or if they're going to be like overrated or whatever. You know, let's check it out.
Things about her in this game is she has these cool VFX, like this purple energy.
So one thing I noticed in this game, and we saw in the beta with like Katana and with Kenshi as well and other characters, is a lot of characters have like long no hurt box normals, and we saw with Scorpion as well, especially with their sweep. We see like Sindel, Scorpion, Katana, they all have like long and no hurt box sweeps. And for those that don't know what I mean by no hurt box, I mean like the move hits you, but if you hit the move, you're not necessarily hitting the character. You know what I mean? So if you hit like Sindel's hair, that doesn't necessarily mean you're hitting Sindel. You know what I mean? So it's a really, that's some of the strongest moves in fighting games, is moves where they have a hitbox, but they don't have a hurt box. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one thing that made Devora so good in like MKX, for example, and Alien.
And then the use of her hair.
Regal purple.
Absolutely. She has a really good range, as you'd imagine someone with magical long hair. And there's a couple normals I really wanted to talk about. First is forward 4, which kind of takes out of a page of the last game, and it's like kind of her main.
So one thing about Sindel in MK11 and now in this game is a lot of like top players, like good players, they will tech throws by they'll block and then they'll tech and then they'll block again. And a string that hits like really quick back to back can really blow that up. And Sindel's forward 4 in MK11 was really good at that. And I would expect it to be really good at that as well. It's a quick two-hitting string.
And it's
or
like
button.
kind of her main,
but it goes into a string.
Used to get in.
Which 16-bit's about to show,
Yes.
I believe.
And it's pretty quick, but it has a really neat new follow-up. She jumps into the air.
Yeah, the low. And it launches.
Combo starter, and she can actually control how far she goes. She can do the close version and actually land right in front of them. Far version.
Now, one thing we don't know is like the frame data, right? Like that could be like really unsafe, or it could have like a huge gap to where you could just hit her, so she just has to do forward 4 on block, or she'll risk like getting comboed or getting armored into a Cameo launcher or something like that. So we don't know like the frame data yet. And also another thing I wanted to touch on real quick, I should have paused it sooner.
And actually land right in front of them.
Hopefully we see it again.
Far version.
Yeah, so you see this jump kick right here that Sindel has. It's kind of similar to like Takita's in MKX, where it's got like a really wide hitbox. So it's not gonna, so say like, if you can see my mouse, so say like Liu Kang's here where he is, and Sindel's right here. It's not gonna be good to jump in with it from like like from this angle. But if you're like right here in front of Liu Kang and you want to apply offense with the jump, that's gonna be really cheap, because you're gonna be able to throw the jump kick before you autocorrect on the other side, and it's gonna make it basically impossible for the other character to anti-air unless they like up block or armor. You know what I mean? Because they're not gonna autocorrect in time to do like a stand 1 or a down 2 or something like that. So jump ins like that are always good, but they're not good from like sweep range or like neutral stuff like that, where you see like, you know, you might see like a Kung Lao do a jump kick, a Sub-Zero, something like that. It's not really going to work from there. It's going to get anti-air pretty easily. So it's a very good jump kick. Also, is that Frost right there? And yeah, so it's a very good jump kick, but you're going to have to use it a little bit differently than, you know, some other good jump kicks in the game.
Or she could just do it by itself, go in for a throw.
That's a wrap.
Thank you. Go for this cool low. Or one of her block strings. Another normals is back 2, which leaves you an overhead, and she can combo into it, or you can do back 2 by itself and actually be airborne. Let's go over the special moves. We'll start with the classic, the Scream, the iconic, quintessential Sindel move.
So let's actually count how long Scream captures.
The Scream, the iconic, quintessential Sindel.
1,
It's
2,
still one of her best
3.
combo starters.
Hold on, go back to the first one.
We'll start with the classic,
One,
the scream,
two,
the iconic,
three.
quintessential.
So it's
Sindel.
about like a 2.5 second capture there, which could be very good. You could, so with like cameos and with like her low projectile, which you'll see later, which launches in the corner and stuff like that, you might be able to do like a big combo without Scream, in the combo with Scream, and then do it into like a Frost or like a Jack setup.
It's still one of her best.
And that could
combo
be really
starters.
cheap.
It stuns. They can't hear anything for a while. She's gonna get a free hit. You can kind of do it at mid-range if you think you caught them sleeping, not blocking. Like I said, it's great to hit confirm. It's just
We're seeing all these strings and all these normals, but it's like, it's so hard to say how good a character will be, because like when people talk about how good characters are right now, they're purely talking about like their special moves and also their like synergy with cameos. But a big part of what makes a character good, as we all know, is their normal, or is like their frame data and like the gaps they have and don't have, stuff like that. And obviously the Kombat Kast, they didn't go into any type of frame data. So we're seeing all these strings, but we don't know what they're on block. We don't know their startup. We don't know their active frames. We don't know the gaps in them. So it's hard to like say like a character is like good or whatever like right now. But yeah, Sindel is looking pretty strong.
exactly.
I just
right.
throw it out.
But it's
all the
important to keep
All
that in
the
mind.
time. Then let's go over fireballs, which are always one of the most important kind of key things about her offense. She has high hairball.
So you know what her straight fireball reminds me of? It reminds me of Jax's in Mortal Kombat X. It's very slow startup, but it's big and kind of slow and lingers a little bit. So if they try to jump,
her offense.
they're gonna get caught.
She has
They're gonna get
high
caught jumping
hairball.
at it.
Low hairball.
Which is in the moves list.
Yes, that's canonical. Hairball. And then air hairball. New to this game is
Air
the
projectile
straight,
seems very
quick
very
fire-
good. It's actually faster than the standard projectile. It's actually faster than the standard projectile.
Fireball. It is
And again,
not
it's
the downward
huge.
arc
It's
it has
huge.
previously done. You can do it really low to the ground and it's quick, and I think it's pretty effective. Look at that, I still
And
got it.
it lingers too. By the time it gets to them, she's basically already recovered. Like it lingers too.
Her EX versions have some interesting properties. So,
And of course, she's got the low projectile as well.
straight one, the straight one will actually eat up fireballs. So if you use a barometer or zoning more,
Now
you'll
we can't actually
eat-
see how much damage the projectiles do because they have the character set to like no health, like 0.1%.
Ouch.
So we actually can't see how much the projectiles do.
Their projectile. And the low ones are really neat. So she adds that little hair whip at the beginning, and up close, actually a hit that will pop them up. Which means in the corner, you can do cool stuff. Like,
It seems like a hard combo to get.
oh my gosh. There we go. Maybe I don't still have it.
Yeah, so you could do like Frost. Okay, so with Sindel, you could get a hit confirm. You could do Frost slide. You could do a jump in into her biggest corner carry combo. Into like maybe the EX hair or maybe not, into Scream, into a Frost bomb, into a grab setup, and they at that point they got an armor. If you read their armor, you wait and bait the armor, then they gotta wait, maybe thinking you're gonna bait it, and then you throw them. Like it's just you could put them in really bad situations with stuff like that.
I think it's good.
Thank you. So it's neat. It turns this pure zoning tool up close into an actual offensive tool.
So two different ways you can use it,
Exactly.
both equally cool.
You can also use that with your mix-ups, which gets to the next tool, her cartwheel, the overhead, straight from MK9. If it EX it has armor, it's really good up close, it's great as a wake-up attack, you can use it after moves like this.
So one thing that's interesting about Sindel, y'all, that I believe will make a character really good, like right away, is her armor. Well, she doesn't have it, but is when a character has an armored move. Obviously, armor moves they don't launch in this game. Even Shao Kahn's Tyler Lansdowne corrected himself. If you hit the armor, it doesn't launch. So it's not really an armored launcher. It's just a launcher. And if it's armored, it's just a splat. Now, the characters like Sub-Zero, if they do like armored slide or like who was another character? Johnny Cage with Nut Punch, Katana with her DP, and there's gonna be a lot of other characters. Their armor move doesn't launch, but with an ambush cameo it can, because the character kind of stays in the air, It's just the character themselves can't recover and combo in time like Sub-Zero. But if you use like Sonya's Airwave or like Kano's Knives, now you can. Now you can. Instead of getting 10% off your armor move, you now get 30%. That's going to be dirty in this game. And Sindel's not going to have that, y'all. Sindel's not going to have it.
Up close, it's great as a wake-up attack.
Because as you can see, when they get hit, it splats immediately. There's not going to be any room to throw in a Cameo to combo off of it. There's not going to be any. So Sindel will not have combos off of armor with Cameo. And I personally believe that's going to be a big deal. I personally believe that's going to be a big deal.
You can mix it up with low, her sweep, and a really fun down three. Look at that.
So like for me, when I play against you, you really have to be paying attention because one of the moves is a mid, the other is overhead.
Exactly.
They look different, but you have to.
Yes.
You can't be on autopilot.
Right. And then lastly, she has the classic levitate. So she can float in the air, she can drop straight down. So like for example, you're trying to zone, you can standing low fireballs to go under your hairball. Not very effective to remove low fireball when you're literally not touching the ground.
Right.
She can also cancel it, and she can do fun cancels. Like for example, she can do the back two, the airborne, go under flight, and if you EX it, it's actually significantly faster.
Now that's a meterless. That reminds me of like Blue Beetle and Injustice 2. You got to wonder though what the gap is like in that. Like, can you just hit her out of it, or are you? Obviously, you're gonna be able to armor. There's no way it will be like jailing. But you got to wonder like, are you gonna be able to just hit her out of it?
And she has some true block strings that they won't be able to interrupt.
Got it.
Now let's talk about how this can play into her cameo. I have chosen, oops, set it to all. I have
Now,
how
hold on.
they won't be able to interrupt.
Got it.
And she has some true block strings that they won't be able to interrupt.
Got it.
16-bit said that she'll have some true block strings you won't be able to interrupt. I don't think that's true though. Maybe not with like a jab.
And she has some true, it's actually significantly faster.
Oh, with the meter burn. Okay. With the meter burn, yeah, I could see that. With the meter burn. But with the meterless, you'll at least be able to armor. And you'll probably just be able to hit her, to be honest. But yeah, with the meter burn, it might be tighter. It might even jail. I could see that for sure.
Now let's talk about how this can play into her cameo. I have chosen, oops, set it to all. I have chosen Sareena, who we got a little taste of in the last trailer, but now we're actually going to show her moves. So her first attack is the blade. It's a very quick projectile. You can see the cooldown is pretty quick. Then she also has Kia's blades. She goes full demon, throws multiple, they come back, and this actually leads into combos, so you can do fun stuff. To confirm that.
Now, keep in mind, I actually got a comment of people saying, oh, Sareena is just Kano knives, but they come back. Kano knives are an ambush, so you can throw them out whenever you want, as long as you're not as long as you have control of your character. Whereas Sareena's knives,
combos, so you can do fun stuff.
As you can see, it puts Sindel into the summon animation. That's Sindel's summon animation. So no, it's not like Kano knives at all. It's actually a lot worse. It could still be good though, but Kano knives, being like an ambush move is just, if an ambush move is similar to a summon move, the ambush move is way better. That's just how this game is. You know what I mean? Being able to call it whenever you want while you're doing something, like, it's just insane. But it still isn't bad. And Sareena does have a cheap ambush move that they'll get to.
It is fun.
And she can really get up in the air.
Yes.
In a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways. She also has her Demon Up Kick, which is a great wake-up attack. It's invincible. It's really quick. You can also use it as an anti-air. And then lastly, she has a fourth move. Every cameo has at least 3, and some might have more, so she's one of those. Jakata's Curse. She puts this rune on the ground, and while the opponent is standing in it, let's set it to default, Liu Kang's meter is being drained. Pretty quick,
Yeah,
you can
pretty
see.
fast.
Yeah. Now, this is an ambush move, which means you can do it while Sindel's doing other actions. So for example, while you have a combo going, you can summon her.
Yeah, that's really good. So like a lot of times, like y'all will see, like with Frost Bomb or Jack's Ground Pound, other stuff. Maybe not. Is Jack's Ground Pound's a summon, right? I don't know. I didn't find any Jax's. But with like a summon move where you set it up, you have to like cut your combo short or do like something really plus to where you make sure you got set up. But with the ambush move, you can do it. Say like you end Sindel's combo with I don't know what her ender really is, but say you're doing like her ender, you can summon that portal while you're doing like the string into the ender, and then the portal's already there, and then you're still plus, you know what I mean? Because it's an ambush move. And meter is so important on this game, so that's so good, y'all. That's going to be so good. When people get the right setups going, like, man, that's going to be good. Sareena's looking like a strong cameo, y'all.
Yeah, so you can imagine you can use that in the corner, in the middle of your combo, have her coming out, drain your meter, stuff like that. She could even do nasty stuff like drain your meter so you can't break a combo in the middle of your combo.
She's not gonna like breakers very much.
She does not, which is, let's maybe get into that a little bit more. So, let's go back to what we said earlier. Sindel has a couple of moves using the Cameo system. So, you know, Sindel in the lore, she's the queen. She has this commanding presence. She has, you know, what the kids would say is riz.
Oh, they would say that.
Thank you. And, you know, she could use that to actually command her cameo and maybe more. So let's start with this buff move. Once you activate it, while it's active, cooldown, it will be significantly faster for your cameo. So you can see normally, this move's already pretty quick. Once she has this active, it's even quicker, and Sareena, she is recovering so fast her cooldown, she could basically do that like almost indefinitely.
That move's very good. I mean, it costs no meter, so if you can get it out without getting hit, because it does have a little bit of recovery to it, but if you can get it out without getting hit, you basically have infinite cameo bar. That's very good. Very strong move.
What normally would be kind of a limited use move into something that you can just use almost like any other special move. Or some of the other ones, like Kia's Blades, to have a pretty long cooldown, it's significantly faster when she has that active.
Now she's giving herself up there.
Correct.
There is some, yeah.
Correct. But once she gets going, her cameo use is substantially better. There's also an EX version with a really interesting twist. When she EX it, she's now commanding the opponent's cameo, and if the opponent tries to brave, they will be stunned, and you get a reset instead. So let's show that again. I have the move active. The opponent goes for a breaker. You can see Sonya actually is like, gets the little head and, you know, oh my god, I'm confused. And your breaker is not just disabled. Once you get that stun, they popped up and Sindel gets a full reset.
Got it.
No breakers allowed.
Couple ways to avoid them, seems
Yes.
like for her.
There's also another really interesting move I'd like to show. So for this one, Sindel can take control of an opponent's cameo and stun them. So for example, I will call it out, and Sonya is actually dizzy.
Yep.
If Sindel is in the middle of doing this move, where she points, while the cameo is out, so you have to do it on a read, the cameo is stunned for this entire length of time and cannot be summoned.
Okay.
There's also an EX version. With this version, Sonya will leave the screen and I gain control of her. And I actually get a free use of either of the cameo's moves of my choosing. So for example, I now have Square Wave. And that use of
you can pick
cameo-
any of them.
Correct.
Not just
Any
the one
of
there.
Son-
Now, a lot of people are saying that that's like the most OP thing she has, stuff like that. That's so broke, needs nerfed. But I'm actually gonna sit here and say that that's not very good. Now, obviously, still in the cameo stuff like that. On paper, that's broke, right? That's insane. But I just feel like any good player is not gonna throw out a cameo against Sindel that's like out there for a long time. You know what I mean? And she can't just sit there and do a meter burn move, where she's just sitting there doing it. You know what I mean? Like nothing's protecting her besides maybe an ambush cameo, which Sareena, all she has is that puddle. So you can just see her doing it and hit her. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's a really hard read. And also, here's another thing. Another property of that move, right, is they can't break. So if you're going to put a move on someone where they can't break, you're going to want to kind of set them up with it. Like, do a combo, end it with that. So your next hit, they can't break. You know what I mean? I feel like you're not going to be doing that in neutral. You know what I mean? Because then you're risking getting hit and it'll get messy, stuff like that. I don't know. I just feel like the whole stealing cameos and setting them up with their own cameos, we're not really going to see that in tournament, right? That's going to be more for like a swag YouTube video on Combat League against like, you know, someone who's not very good, doesn't really know what they're doing. They're throwing out a long cameo against Sindel, and then you do the meter burn, boom, you got their cameo. Now you're setting them up with their stuff. On like good players who like recognize what Sindel can do, I think you'll rarely see that. So yeah, I know that opinion goes against the grain. I know a lot of people think that's like the best move in the whole game, but yeah, that's just my take. I feel like people are gassing that move up a little bit. I don't think it's as good as people say. Now, it like the meterless version where you get like the infinite cameo bar, that's very good. And then the meter burn version, making it to where they can't break, that's very good as well. But the stealing cameo thing, I think we won't see that very much. I think that's kind of, people are kind of capping about how good that's going to be.
Moves. Right.
Got it.
I have control over it for a pretty good amount of time, and it does not cost any kind of cooldown or anything. So you could actually do stuff like I could summon Sonya to start leg grab to go into a combo, and then go into Sareena's demon like anti-air move to end the combo if I wanted. You could even use 3 cameo moves in one combo if you wanted to.
People are gonna have some fun in training mode on this one.
Yeah, it's really, really neat, and it's something that's gonna, you know, how effective and the way you use it's gonna change on what the opponent.
Don't get me wrong, if you have a good cameo and you steal a good cameo and you use that good cameo into your cameo and you synergize it properly, that's probably the best thing in the whole game. Don't get me wrong. But I just feel like on a good player who recognizes they're fighting Sindel, you won't see that much. You won't see that pulled off much.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do we want to do Fatal Blow? Is that all?
I think that's the best way we can finish, right?
Let's do it.
So yeah, y'all, Sindel's looking very strong. I do disagree with a couple things that the community's saying about her. And obviously we don't know her frame data, which is going to determine a lot. But yeah, Sindel's looking very strong, y'all. Definitely one of the top 3 to 4 characters we've seen as far as like the tools we can look at right now. Yeah, she's looking great. Great normals, good projectile game. Looks like she has good damage. Looks like she has decent pressure. Looks like she has really good synergy. Really, really good synergy with setup cameos. So yeah, I might try her out. I don't know, my list is long now, especially with Natara into the fold. My list is long of characters to try out. But let me know what y'all thought about my thoughts on Sindel, and let me know what you think about her, how strong she'll be, stuff like that. And yeah, like and subscribe to y'all. Later.